The Big 12 Conference went 5-2 in its first round games of the NCAA Tournament. Now it's time to talk second round. I'm Pete Mundo, HeartlandCollegeSports.com. We cover the Big 12 Conference from top to bottom. Thanks for being here. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you doing that. So March Madness is in full swing. And let's just say this. Big 12 went 5-2. Not going to be upset about that, but I'm going to be honest here. Iowa State embarrassed itself. That was disappointing. And West Virginia let one slip away against Maryland. Now, such is life in the Big 12 and, frankly, the NCAA tournament. It happens, but here we are, now getting set for what is going to be a great second round. Let's start off and let's run through these games. Let's begin with Kansas taking on Arkansas in the second round. So Arkansas didn't shoot well against Illinois. That's something that, they got through the game no matter what. It was good for them. It worked out. Kansas is a defense, though, that allows just under 42% from the field. You look at Arkansas, they've got to score to win. The Illinois game was an aberration. Arkansas is now 3-9 when shooting under 45%. The Hogs don't do anything from three. They turn the ball over way too often, and as a result, it results in them losing games that they shouldn't. Kansas doesn't get to the free throw line in bunches. It's physical on the inside. They can force their way to 3 points, to free points. And then also, if they get that second scorer around Jalen Wilson, a guy like Grady Dick, they can win this game running away. Kansas is not fast. It can play in many different ways, and it's highly efficient. So I do like the Jayhawks to get to the Sweet 16, and I think Kansas can get this thing done in pretty darn good fashion. I like Kansas to win this game, something along the lines of, let's say, 72-65 over the Arkansas Razorbacks. KU will advance, KU will move on, and KU will be in the Sweet 16. I'm not too concerned about the loss of Bill Self. I don't think Bill Self not being in this game is going to be a big deal because these guys have been playing now for Norm Roberts for 2 weeks. They're used to it. They get it. They're comfortable with it. And ultimately, I think this is going to work out very well for the Jayhawks. I want to see Bill Self back next week. I understand why he's taking a little time. The guy just, got a couple of stents, but I don't think this is going to come back to bite him in any major way. So ultimately, I like Kansas winning this game by about 7 points. Next up in the Big 12, let's talk Texas and Penn State. So here's the thing. The Nittany Lions in their first round win hit 48% from the field. They jacked up 13 threes. They were never in any sort of danger. They are devastating when they're on from the outside. They are 14-1 when they hit 40% or better from three. Here's the thing. The Longhorns know how to stop the three ball. They just played Colgate, the best three-point shooting team in the country, and they held them to 3 of 15. Now, I know you're going to say, Pete, it's Colgate. Okay, fine. I get it. It is Colgate. You're right about that. It's Colgate. But still, they forced Colgate to go inside. It didn't work out. And, Texas rolled to a win. So they have a formula on how to beat a team that wants to jack up the three ball. They have that formula. They know how to win that kind of a game. And they will very much do that again on Saturday night. Texas is number one in the Big 12 in turnover margin. Look at these numbers as well. Texas is number one in turnover margin at plus 4.13. That is a huge number when you compare it to a Penn State team that is ninth in the Big 10 in turnover margin at a negative number. You act sloppy, you play sloppy in the NCAA tournament, you are going to lose most likely. And that is something that Penn State has to be very concerned about against a long, active Texas team that is great at forcing you into mistakes. And I believe that's going to play a big role in what happens on Saturday night. I like the Texas Longhorns beating the Penn State Nittany Lions by a score of 75-70. I will take them in that game on Saturday night. And the Longhorns punch that ticket to the Sweet 16 as one of the hottest teams in the country. And that's what the Longhorns are right now after winning the Big 12 tournament. Next up on Sunday, 3 games for the Big 12 Conference. Let's talk about Kentucky and K-State. First off, a rematch of a great 2018 game Remember that in the Sweet 16 between these two teams? 2018 matchup, K-State won that game to reach the Elite Eight. Here's the problem for K-State now. How are you going to slow down Oscar Tshiebwe? The guy is a double-double machine, 16 points, 13 boards a game. Against Providence in the first round, Tshiebwe had 25 rebounds. You heard that right, 25 rebounds. That's the most in any tournament game since 1977. 11 of those were on the offensive glass. That's a big reason that Kentucky was able to stay in control of that game, especially as both offenses were struggling in that second half. I don't know how K-State slows down Oscar Tshiebwe. I don't know how K-State keeps this guy off the boards. They are not a great rebounding team. They're in the bottom half of the Big 12 in rebounding margin. That's not a strength for this Kansas State team. So it's one of those things where I'm looking at it and I'm saying, this is not a good matchup for the Wildcats. It's not. It's not that I don't like K-State. It's not that I don't think that they can get to a Sweet 16. They can. But with this matchup, the way it's currently presented, I don't like it for them one bit. Because I don't see how they do it. They also like to play relatively slow and methodically, and that's going to benefit Kentucky in this game. So I like Kentucky beating Kansas State 64-58 in their second round NCAA tournament matchup. Also on Sunday, Baylor, Creighton take on each other in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Let's dive into that game here. So Creighton wants to hit threes. Creighton wants to get this game up tempo. But they're going up against a Baylor team that can do just that. So Creighton is the number one, second technically, second best three-point shooting team in the Big East. When they hit threes, they do not lose. This Creighton team is 9-1 when making 11 or more three-pointers in games. But here's the thing. Baylor is the best three-point shooting team in the Big 12. A lot of people probably don't realize that, but Baylor is the best three-point shooting team in the Big 12 Conference. They both also are very good from the free throw line. So they mirror each other. Baylor and Creighton mirror each other in many ways. Here's where Baylor has the edge in this game. Baylor has the edge first in rebounding. Baylor is the number one offensive rebounding team in the Big 12. If this game is close, and I believe that it will be, second chance opportunities are going to play a big difference. That benefits Baylor. And on top of that, turnovers. Creighton is last in the Big East in turnover margin. Creighton did the worst job of any team in that conference in holding onto the ball. Baylor was better. They were in the plus side of turnover margin, and not high on the plus side, but top half of the Big 12, and they had more takeaways than they had turnovers. Creighton was on the other end of that. Worst turnover margin in the entire conference. That's terrible. You talk second round, crunch time, NCAA tournament. I'm not taking that team. I like Baylor beating Creighton 78-74 in their second round NCAA tournament matchup on Sunday. Also in the Big 12, TCU Gonzaga in the late night Sunday game in the second round NCAA tournament matchup. So three-pointers, that's what Gonzaga does. They shoot threes and they give up threes. They're the number one team in the nation in scoring, number one in field goal percentage. They let it rip. Well, here's the thing. Now they got to take on a TCU team that is very, very good at preventing teams from hitting three-pointers. They are the second best three-point defense in the entire Big 12. The Horned Frogs know how to prevent the three ball. They do it very well. Now they go up against a Gonzaga team that, let's be honest, has not played the level of competition that TCU has played. The toughness, the veracity that TCU is going to bring to that perimeter defense is not going to be something that Gonzaga has seen here over the last couple of months, probably since non-conference play. TCU is top 3 in rebounds in the Big 12, offensive rebounds as well. And if TCU can slow this game down, be efficient from the floor, guard the three ball well, the Horned Frogs can win. And I believe ultimately the Horned Frogs are going to win this game. Now, if it's going to be close at the end, I don't like either of these teams to hit free throws because they're both in the bottom 3 in their respective conferences in free throw percentage. So if it's a free throw shooting game down the stretch, may the best man win. But ultimately, this is one of those games where it feels like to me, if TCU plays its game, plays its pace after a very good comeback against Arizona State, the Horned Frogs win this game. I like TCU 64, Gonzaga 62 in their second round NCAA tournament matchup, with the Horned Frogs punching that ticket to the Sweet 16. I'm Pete Mundo, HeartlandCollegeSports.com. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a part of the show. Subscribe on YouTube, share it. We appreciate you guys always being a part of it. And we'll talk to you soon. Go Big 12.